Alright guys, so in this video we're gonna reveal the next champion of the Echoes of Oz campaign, and it's gonna be Dorothy Gale. Absolutely stunning design, a lot of green, and as you can see, there's also her companion, which is called Toto, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a super, the Wizard of Oz fan. I maybe watched it once or twice, so please don't judge me, okay? Alright, but here's the skill kit. And I think this champion will be better than the other one, to be honest. I think Dorothy will be better than the other one. So let's read it, okay? Legendary support type champion from the Bannerlords faction, Spirit Affinity, and yeah. The A1, Emerald Blast. Attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance, 100% chance of, if booked, of removing one random buff from the target. Also has a 100% chance if booked of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. It needs 3 books for the extra 25% chance. Not a crazy A1, but I like to see more weaken debuffs on the A1s. There are some situational uses. If you try to, one turn some dungeons with like ally attacks like Mikage, and you go with a champion like this that has a 100% chance weaken on an A1, you put them in, one of the first slots, you get the weaken, then a champion with decreased defense on the A1, and then you go with Phoenix, all right, the 6-star, fully awakened Phoenix that can smack or one-shot bosses with Crushing Rend, right? So that's kind of like the strategy there. And I don't think there are that many champions with weaken on the A1, actually, with a 100% chance as well, right? So pretty solid A1, not too crazy, but solid, okay? Also removing one random buff with the A1. Kind of nice, but nothing too crazy. A2, Windstorm, has a 100% chance, if booked, of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff and a 50% decreased accuracy debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Very simple, not too complicated, not a lot of text. It's a one-liner, very unusual for new champions. Most of the times you have like a wall of text nowadays on the new champions. So yeah, I like to see this. Just keep it simple, straightforward, 2 debuffs, that's it. And so far, I think, it's very interesting to see 3 debuffs already on this champion with A1 and A2. And all these 3 debuffs are actually needed for Chimera Trials, and I think this is a very unique combination of those debuffs. Pretty cool, to be honest. The skill needs 4 books, so we are at 7 so far. A3, Furious Tornado, attacks all enemies, steals all buffs from all enemies, then applies a buff spread effect, taking all buffs from this champion and placing them on all allies. Amazing, okay? You have an AoE attack, then you steal all buffs, you spread the buffs on Dorothy, on everybody else in your team. Pretty cool. Then it has a 100% chance, if booked, to place a stun debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Wow, this is amazing, actually. Stealing buffs, spreading buffs onto your team, and then stunning everyone. But then you also have a unity effect here, okay? With 1, 2, and 3 Oz allies. That means beside her, you will definitely have at least 3 other champions, right? So we don't know so far how many champions there will be, right? But it will definitely be at least 3, okay, besides her. Otherwise, this wouldn't make sense. So with 1 Oz ally, you cannot land a weak hit with the skill. With 2, this skill cannot be put on cooldown. And with 3, this skill will ignore effects of any enemy polymorph blessings. I don't think this will be super important for like PvP, right? If you think about live arena, I don't think you will be able to draft all these Oz champions. I mean, you can, but it will probably not be that effective unless the other champions that they are about to reveal are super insane, okay? So maybe there will be a polymorph blessing on the event dungeon where this would make sense to bring the Oz allies. Maybe. Not quite sure what the event dungeon would look like, but we know that they have blessings at some level, right? So this could be the case. But other than that, I think this A3 is a very solid skill. Now, let's take a look at the passive, because I think this is the most important part about this champion. So the passive is called True Friend, and whenever this champion is killed, all allies team up to attack the enemy that killed her. Whenever this champion is revived, instantly activates her Furious Tornado skill. So let's say you build her with a lot of accuracy, which you definitely want on her anyway. She's all about debuffs and stealing buffs. And you build her with a lot of speed and squishy. And then she gets one shot. All your other allies will attack that champion. So she can work kind of as a trigger, right, for that ally attack. If you build her very squishy, maybe you don't want gear on her at all. That could be funny. Maybe there are some fun comps you can play there with, Imagine you have a Stormcaller Marius on your team, and then a Hackathon, or what is it called, Tacteon, and she dies from any A1 or whatever, and all your your Stormcaller Marius and your Tacteon and your Hackathon are just ally attacking everybody. So yeah, this could be very, very interesting. There might be some funny comps with this passive, and I think it's very powerful, actually. Now, when she gets revived, it instantly activates her A3, which is an AoE attack. Then you will steal all buffs, if possible, if there are no total guard stacks anymore. Then you will apply a buff spread effect, and then you will stun. So I think she's absolutely insane. I think if you have a reviver on your team and some AoE A1s on your team as well, this could be a very, very interesting champion for PvP. But the passive is not done yet. Okay, so let's keep reading. Increases this champion's HP by 3% for each ally turn taken, and increases this champion's speed by 3% for each enemy turn taken. Both stack up to 30%. So she's ramping stats as well. Amazing. I think this is one of the strongest passives I've seen in a while. Obviously, there are some insane ones, but I think this is, definitely on the stronger side. And yeah, amazing, amazing. I definitely also see some use for PvE, definitely. An AoE stun is pretty crazy, alongside 3 other debuffs. And then she can steal buffs and buff spread. So I think she might be actually also useful for Chimera, as you have weaken, decreased defense, and decreased accuracy. But then you can also kind of trigger an ally attack, right, with her passive. So I think she's insanely good for PvE and PvP, and I feel like she might be better than Ozilda, at least a little bit. I'm not quite sure, but from reading the kit and this passive, I think the passive is kind of like the breaking point here. She might be actually better. And she is the main character of the Wizard of Oz story, right? She's the main character, so she might be the login champion, the free one. Not quite sure. We don't have any info on it yet, so this is all speculation, but it would make sense, kinda, right? If she would be the login champion. If she's not the login champion, then most likely the fusion champion, right? That's kind of like what I'm assuming. And we know Ozilda is going to be the event dungeon boss, so she's most likely going to be available through winning a champ chase tournament, and I don't see her being worth to go that crazy on a champ chase tournament, right? Unless you get an easy group. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I think this champion is amazing, guys. All battles, speed aura as well. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but overall, I think this kit looks absolutely amazing, and I think she's slightly better than Ozilda. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you enjoyed this video, YouTube's gonna think that you like this one as well. Take care and see you in the next one.